Hello everyone, happy Tuesday. I'm so happy that you're here for So What today. It's tax day. So we are going to take a little distraction from our taxes. Hopefully they're all done and shipped off and we can just breathe a little easier. But we're going to take a little distraction from all of that and dive into some craftiness today. We have a brand new free project download at sulky.com, and I'm going to take you through it today. It's actually a couple of hand embroidery designs that you can print out onto Sulky Stick and Stitch Stabilizer. I'll talk all about that momentarily. And you can apply it to any number of things. You can use embroidery blanks, you can create a project from scratch, but you can display these really cute designs, and they are actually a tribute to moms everywhere. So in the spirit of Mother's Day coming up, that's what we're going to talk about today. Hi, everybody. I can see your comments coming in now. Be sure to comment, ask your questions, like, love, share out this live stream today, because if you do, you will be automatically eligible to win the machine embroidery versions of the designs that I'm going to show you today. So we have also digitized the collection that I'll be talking about for machine embroidery. So if machine embroidery is more your style or more your preferred way of embroidering, then you can grab up the machine embroidery designs. The entire collection consists of 2 designs. They're rather large in scale, and the machine embroidery collection retails for $8.99. And as I mentioned, the hand embroidery designs are completely free. So you can add them to your cart at sulky.com, go through the checkout process, and it will say $0, complete your purchase, your free purchase, and then the designs will go into your Sulky account so you can retrieve them at any time. If you want to print them today on Stick and Stitch, or if you need to order some Stick and Stitch, that can come in, and then you can always retrieve those design files from your Sulky account. So very convenient. Now, before we get started, I want to talk about our embroidery sewing session, which is coming up on May 9th. This is our quilty wall hanging project with designs by Juju and power tools with thread. This is one of our longer format sewing sessions, which means the entire thing is on demand, available to watch at any time. You don't have to wait for a live date. You don't have to watch live and comment and all of those good things like we normally do during our free webcasts and our video casts. Our embroidery sewing sessions are longer format sessions broken into manageable chunks so that you can take your way through the project when your time allows or as you start to feel more confident with the project. And it's also nice to go back if you want to review a certain section of the project. Let's say you just want to review how to use end-to-end quilting designs. You can go back to just that lesson and review all that information and watch that video. Or if you want to take yourself through one of the applique designs that's featured on the quilty wall hanging, you can go to just that section and then stitch those designs on a variety of other projects. So it's really neat how it's kind of sectioned out for you so that you can choose the way that you want to learn and when you want to learn it and in what format. So within the embroidery sewing session, there are videos you can watch. There is also text you can read. There are downloadable PDF instructions for the sections of the project. And then there's also Q&A comment section on each lesson. So if you have a question that pertains to just that portion, you can ask your question right there and we will get back to you with your answer. So if you've never tried one of these longer format sessions before, it's a really unique way to learn a project, a bunch of techniques, and then to also have loads of reference materials that you can refer back to at a later date or as you're working your way through the project. So of course we have a kit that goes along with this session so that you don't have to go hunting around for all of the things that you need to create the project. This is our homage to sewing, right? It's all about the sewing machine. There's a little 3D applique piece. There's friendship stars that are done entirely in the hoop of your embroidery machine, so you don't have to piece those together. And really, we are learning, like, the core of this session is to learn and understand how to quilt in the hoop of your embroidery machine. So if you're always taking something off to the long armor, or you're kind of stuck in the rut of just quilting in the ditch, which I have to admit I do a lot of the time because it's just so much easier, you will love learning how to use these end-to-end quilting designs from Designs by Juju. She has a ton of different designs available. But when you sign up for this embroidery sewing session, you will receive a end-to-end quilting design. It comes in 13 sizes and 2 hoop orientations. So no matter what your hoop constraints are, you will be able to use the designs. You will get that entire collection. You will also get this sewing machine applique design with a 3D fabric embellishment. You will also get the friendship star design as well. So this entire design collection is valued at $20, and you will get it simply by registering for the sewing session. When you grab up your kit, it's available at a screaming deal right now. There is an expiration date on the kit pricing, and like I said, it has everything that you need to create your wall hanging. It has these beautiful fabrics that are all sewing motifs, sewing themed fabrics from Robert Kaufman. It also has a couple of solids. One of the solids is used for the backing, as well as a portion of the friendship stars. And then another fabric is used for another portion of the friendship stars. You have a couple of pieces of fabric for that sewing machine applique, and then everything else to create your 9-patch block backing for your wall hanging. So all of those fabrics. You'll also get sulky, soft, and sheer stabilizer, the batting that you need, as well as all these thread colors that you see on this image here. So all of this is included in the kit, so you can just open it up and start sewing. Here is what the fabric looks like just a little bit closer up, so you can see all the pretty coordinates. This is a brand new fabric collection from Robert Kaufman. It's called Sewing Basket. Isn't that cute? So the little patch fabric is what we use for our 3D fabric embellishment. And you use some pinking shears to trim that up so that it doesn't fray. And it kind of hangs off of that sewing machine bed. It's so, so cute. I think that you all will love hanging this in your sewing room or giving it to a sewing buddy. Or you can even make it into a table topper and embellish it with some more sewing themed things. You know, National Sewing Month is coming up and we've got to celebrate, right? So I think you will love this kit. I think you will love working your way through the designs. I know I learned a lot putting together the session for you all, working with Becky Thompson of Power Tools with Thread, as well as Julie Trieb from Designs by Juju. It's really a quality course with the utmost highest quality designs. And as I mentioned, with your registration, you get all of those designs absolutely for free, included with your registration fee. So I hope you all will check it out. I linked directly to registering for that session in the description of today's post. So if you're not seeing that, or you're not seeing any of the other links that I added to today's post, be sure and hit that See More button that you see on the lower right hand side of your screen, and then the whole description will pop out. You'll find links that you can easily click on over to register for the session and to grab up your hand embroidery designs that I'm about to talk about and everything else. And yes, thank you very much. The kit is $39.99 right now. That is the special price. And all of these things for only $39.99. I don't even think you could purchase all the fabric that you needed for $39.99, quite honestly. And this is great high quality fabric, again, from Robert Kaufman. Lots of you saying Becky's a great instructor. Yes, You will love, love learning from her. She has a lot of tutorials on the end-to-end quilting the end-to-end quilting process, and has used Designs by Juju Designs, dare I say exclusively for that technique. So she has a lot to offer. If you've kind of been thinking, how can I quilt my own items? Or even if you're not a quilter and you want to make some little coasters with some fabric scraps, you can use the smallest end-to-end quilting design and quilt up your coaster in the hoop of your embroidery machine. I will say it's very helpful if you have a magnetic hoop for your embroidery machine when you're doing end-to-end quilting. Just with my experience, oh man, it is such a time saver and really allows you to match up those start and end points of your designs. But if you don't have a magnetic hoop and you're not interested in upgrading your embroidery for magnetic hoops, you can certainly use standard hoops as well to do the end-to-end quilting design. So you don't have to have a magnetic hoop by any stretch, but it is very helpful. So if you do think that once you learn this technique, you're going to use it a lot, which I'm kind of addicted, I must say. I've been doing a lot of my own quilting lately, especially on things like table runners, placemats, because the width of those things kind of fits in my largest hoop. So it's really easy to do the end-to-end quilting designs. At any rate, I just want to do more and more and more of them. And the end-to-end quilting design that you get with purchase of your embroidery session is a sewing theme design. So it's got little thread spools and scissors and little, it's so cute, and it really goes with the wall hanging project. So can you tell I'm a little bit excited about it? As with all of our events at sewingonline.sulky.com, we spend a lot of time prepping them, getting them ready for you, making sure that they've been tested and several people have gone through the course so that we can make sure to have the best content and quality and everything running smoothly for you all. So when it comes time to really tell you about it, I'm just like, I'm up here. I'm just so excited for you all to see it and experience it. And as with everything, we really value your feedback on that as well. Linda says, Designs by Juju is my go-to site for designs. They have great prices. They really do. And I have always had success with Designs by Juju designs. And in fact, Designs by Juju was the first standalone freestanding designs I ever made. I made a bunch of patches, and I made every letter of the alphabet, and I turned them into ornaments. And I had kind of a teacher or school ABC themed little tree project, and they just came together so seamlessly. And I had so much confidence after working with those designs. So one of my go-tos as well. I second that. And I'm so glad that Sulky works with Designs by Juju frequently, and we have a great relationship, and Julie is just fantastic to work with and such a great designer and so thoughtful and appreciative of her customers. And you can't find a person that's more passionate about that. So it's really on par with my experience with everyone at Sulky as well. It's a great relationship. All right, Nancy says, I have the magnetic hoop, the best. Love using mine for everything. Highly recommend. Yes, if you want more information on magnetic hoops, we have them at sulky.com. So you can simply search magnetic hoop, and then you'll plug in your brand, make, and model of machine, and you can see which sizes of hoops are available to you. And it's really cool. You put them on your module the same way you would put on your standard hoop, and the module recognizes those just as it recognizes your standard hoop. You don't have to do anything or translate anything. It's already there for you. You put it on and it knows, okay, that's a 200 by 200 hoop or what have you. And obviously you can select larger hoops for your designs or smaller hoops. All right, Sue Ellen says, yes, I can tell you're excited, and so am I. All right, good. Barb says, I love Designs by Juju. Every time there's a sale, I stock up. Sharon has 5 magnetic hoops. Sharon, that deserves a round of applause. How many machines do you have? 1 machine and 5 hoops? Or 5 machines and 5 hoops? I have a lot of sewing machines. As you can see, they're all, not all, but some are behind me. All right, so let's get into today's project. Oh, somebody is saying they want to see the wall hanging again. So here is that wall hanging. So first you build a 9-patch block. Then we're going to quilt it with those great designs. And we're going to use Sulky 30-weight blendables thread for the quilting. So you'll learn all about that in the embroidery session. Then we are going to add the appliques, the sewing machine in the center and the friendship star blocks in the corners. And then we're going to finish and bind it, and it's all going to go together perfectly. So I hope you will all sign up. Grab up your kit while it's only $39.99 because I think that's almost 50% off of the retail price or thereabouts. So it's a great, great deal. Get it while you can. All right, so let's go to our designs today. As I mentioned, we have a new freebie at sulky.com, and it's called the Call Your Mom Hand Embroidery Design Collection. It comes with these 2 designs that you see here. One of them says, Call Your Mom, and one of them says, Home is where your mom is. So, you know, I said these were embroideries for mom, but they're really embroideries for mom to create and gift away, right? A little nudge to all of those people who need to give their mom a call, right? I particularly love the Home is where your mom is design. That would look so cute on a little pillow, even a shelf pillow. If you don't have room on your couch for a throw pillow, I'm loving the shelf pillow trend. I think it's so, so cute to do a little small pillow on a shelf or even in a centerpiece, you know, on your table. If you have a basket where you put a candle and maybe your TV remote and things like that, you could add a little decorative pillow there. So cute. Anyway, I'm going to show you how these come together for handwork. But as I mentioned, these designs are also available for machine embroidery. And I will talk about that momentarily. So when you grab up these designs at sulky.com, again, they are totally free and they come together in one design download. So you will locate the Call Your Mom Hand Embroidery Design Collection, add it to your cart, go through the checkout process. It will say $0. Just check out and then it will go into your Sulky account and you can access it from there and pull it up. And you'll want to print out just the embroidery designs onto your stick and stitch stabilizer. If you want to print out the entire instructions, because it not only comes with the designs that you can transfer and stitch out any way you choose, but it also comes with instructions for which types of stitches to use where, as well as instructions for the wall art and the towel that I just showed you in that image. So you just want to be sure that when you've loaded your printer with the stick and stitch stabilizer, you're only printing the design pages and not the instructions. I may have done that once or twice. Accidentally printed the instruction pages on my precious stick and stitch stabilizer. Then it comes out of the printer and I'm like, why? You understand my frustration. So I also want to mention that this pattern comes with both designs in black and white and both designs in color. Some people prefer to print out the color versions on their stick and stitch so that when you're embroidering, you know which colors go where in the design. Other people like to only print in black and white, so we have provided the black and white version as well. So really be aware of which pages to print when your printer preferences or settings come up on your screen. you can say only print, pages 5 and 6 or whatever it is. So be sure to do that so you don't waste your stick and stitch stabilizer sheets. So let's see, we're going to start off with the home is where your mom is design, and I'm going to discuss adding it to a towel. You can use a towel blank. We have a variety of those at sulky.com. Some of them have really cute trim already added to the bottom of the towel, so you could coordinate the trim color with the colors in your design. Or you can use any sort of hand towel that you like. And again, this makes a really great gift, or simply just creating it for your own home decor. We were just talking as a staff yesterday about what do we do after Easter is over. We've decorated for Christmas, then we've decorated for Valentine's Day, then we've decorated for St. Patrick's Day, then we decorate for Easter. And is it too soon to bring out all the patriotic decor? Maybe we need a little interim something, right? So a little wall art, a little towel, match this up with some springy other towels or springy pillows, and you've got yourself a little in-between decor, right? So Betsy is saying great details in the design. Yeah, you can see the O is actually a little house, right? And it's on this little green hill. It's got some clouds and everything. I'll show you some close-ups of that portion of the design as well. And just really pretty letter work, with all these little scrolly areas and leaves and things like that on the letters. Absolutely love it. And I should mention that this is designed by Jennifer Carson. She has a great website called Fur and Feather Friends. And you might remember her from our Mammothly Merry Christmas design. She designed our woolly mammoth design that says, "Have a Mammothly Merry Christmas." And she designed that using our filaine thread so that we could brush it out and make the woolly mammoth have this faux fur effect. But now she comes to us with these great mom-themed designs, and we just love working with her as well. You can check out her other works over at Fur and Feather Friends. So first of all, we need a hoop for our fabric, and this fabric needs a little bit of a press, but this is really just showing that you can use your hoop as kind of a template, if you will, to just figure out where you want to place the design onto your towel or onto your fabric. And we have really great hand embroidery hoops at sulky.com. They are called German wooden embroidery hoops, and they are such a better quality than those splintery hoops that you find at the craft stores that kind of fall apart. They lose their shape over time. They're hard to use. So our German wooden embroidery hoops, much better quality. They feel much nicer. You can use them as your wall art and have them look just as pretty as your design. I mean, maybe not as pretty as the design, but you get the idea. So if you're interested in those, we recommend for these designs to use at least the 8-inch size of the wooden embroidery hoop. So we're going to hoop up the towel after you decide where you want your design to be. And then you can use your stick and stitch embroidery transfer and kind of center it in the hoop or place it where you would like it on the towel. So as I mentioned, you're going to print out the stick and stitch stabilizer sheet with the design of your choice. So this is showing the design in full color. And you just want to cut around the design, leaving a little bit of a border so that when you get to those edges, the stick and stitch stays put and doesn't want to kind of curl up on you. If it's cut too close to the edge, when you add your stitches along that edge, it becomes a little bit unwieldy. So you do need to leave yourself a border. You can always trim away after your embroidery is complete and get a little closer to the design so that you have less to wash away. Stick and stitch stabilizer is a water-soluble stabilizer. So not only are we using it to transfer the design, but it's also keeping our towel or item nice and flat during the embroidery process. So it's kind of doing two things in one. It's really neat in that regard. Then when all the embroidery is done, we're just going to wash it away under warm running water, and it's all going to dissolve. Then we can let everything dry and our design will look fantastic. We won't have to deal with any other transfer markings. I don't know about you, but sometimes I use a transfer pen. I forget that it's water soluble or air soluble, and I go and iron my project, and now my marking is permanent. Some fabric markers do that. Or you use a heat removable marking pen and your item gets cold. Let's say it's a towel. You put it around a bucket of ice all decoratively with your champagne or your sodas in there for a Mother's Day brunch. And all of a sudden your markings come back because the towel has gotten cold. That has also happened to me. So keep in mind, stick and stitch, you don't have any of those problems because you're just going to rinse it all away. All right. Super convenient. So first things first, we are going to add, sorry, my eyesight isn't what it used to be. We're going to add the French knots where the little dots are on the lettering. So you can see on the H here, several French knots. If you need a French knot tutorial, we have a resource guide at sulky.com that showcases some basic embroidery stitches for handwork. And there's a little step-by-step graphic that you can refer to create a French knot. I find when I'm doing an in-person class that a French knot is always something that the students have forgotten. So we always have to go over the French knot. The back stitch, the running stitch, almost everybody remembers those. But the French knot always needs a refresher. So you can check out our hand embroidery stitch guide PDF at sulky.com if you want to refer to that. So you'll stitch your French knots. You can get a little glimpse of the detailing of the O. You can also see that same white thread that's used for the French knots is then used for the little clouds in the O. So we're kind of knocking out a color at a time. If you prefer to stitch one letter at a time and complete the whole thing, if that gives you a better sense of satisfaction when you're moving across the design, by all means, do what is most comfortable to you. I like to stitch all of the same color at once, then I can store that thread color and move on to the next. So whatever is, your cup of tea. Then we're going to add some satin stitching into those lettering designs around those French knots, which really make the French knots kind of pop off of the surface, and it just looks so professional. So it's really just long stitches across the width in those portions of the lettering designs. Then we're going to add the little detailing for the flowers, the leaves, those types of things. Now we're going to work on the O. So you can see we had a little bit of the white clouds. Now we're going to add in all the dimension and color for the rest of this design. So this is what Betsy was talking about with the little detailing in the letters. And honestly, if you wanted to use this design, but isolate this cute little house design, you could just print out home and cut out the circle and add that to maybe the corner of some napkins. Super cute, little bit of a farmhouse style. So you can definitely get a lot of mileage out of this design. You could even enlarge the design to use that circle on a few other things and have some coordinating decor that all share this same little motif. All right. Here's, now we're going to add our outline detailing. Once we have all of the letters completed and the O with our pretty picture inside. You'll add the outline detail using some black thread so that you can really see those details pop. And all the instructions for this, again, and recommended stitches to use are within that free PDF at sulky.com. All right, so that gives it some really great, detail, dimension. Then you're going to add the little cross marks that are within those letters, which I think is such a cute little detail. If you prefer that area to be open, you can leave it open. You don't have to embroider along every single line of the design. So take liberties and make it your own. And then we're going to move forward with our wall art. But before we do so, I just wanted to show you the finished towel again, if I can find it here. So you can see after you do all of your outline for home, then you are going to stitch along the is where your mom is. So again, you could leave that portion off and just embroider home. That would be so cute if somebody is new, moving into your neighborhood. Create a little pillow or a towel blank with the word home. Or you could say home is where your heart is. Home is where your friends are. You can really, take liberties again with the design. So what you would do is cut off that portion of lettering that says is where your mom is, cut that off from the stick and stitch, put another piece of stick and stitch on there, and you can either print out the lettering of your choice using just your word processing program, print that out onto stick and stitch and substitute it, or you can hand draw it onto the stick and stitch and put that in place. So if you would rather have this say something else, then by all means, customize it in that way. Nancy says she has a friend moving to a new home. So perfect. It could say, home is right next door. That doesn't make sense. Home is where your new friends are. Something like that. Whatever you would like it to say. All right. So now let's go over, that's how you would finish the towel, is complete your embroidery. And then as I mentioned, you're going to take that towel over to your sink and use running water to rinse away the stabilizer. We don't want to let it sit in standing water, because what can happen is the stick and stitch can actually release from your towel and move to another portion of the towel and kind of sit, and the ink can transfer depending on the printer used, the ink saturation level, all these factors. And then you have a stain that you need to remove from your towel, especially if you're using a white towel like our sample. So it's really important that you rinse the stabilizer away. I'm holding my hand like this because this is how I would hold the towel at an angle under the running water and let it wash away from the towel rather than sit there and pool and separate, okay? And warm water, you can also use cool water though. It'll just take a little bit longer to dissolve. So once it's all, separated and dissolved and rinsed away, give it a few more rinses, and then you'll put it on a towel while it's still saturated. Fold the towel over the top and kind of squeeze out the water while your towel is flat. You don't want to wring out your towel after you have removed the stick and stitch. If there's any little bits that are still within the thread fibers that you use to embroider, again, those could maybe transfer to another part of the towel if you wring it out. And you also run the risk of harming your embroidery in doing that. So you want to just keep it nice and flat on a towel, and then fold the towel over the top, squish it down to remove the excess, and then just let it dry on the towel. If you're using a linen towel or something that can get wrinkly, even just with contact from water, then you can give it a little bit of a press. I always try to not touch my embroidery stitches with the tip of my iron, just as a general rule, I try to keep my iron away from my pretty threads. You can also iron from the wrong side of your work as well. And with something like a towel, keep in mind that you're going to see the wrong side of your towel after your embroidery is complete. So you want to do your best to try to make the wrong side look as good as the right side, or, you know, if not as good, nice and tidy. So I don't like to sort of travel with my thread. When I finish those French knots, I finish them on the wrong side. And same goes for just stopping and starting thread colors. I will leave long thread tails, and then I will thread them into my needle and weave them through the back side of my embroidery rather than creating a bunch of knots along the work. And that seems to make it last longer, not get snagged. You know, towels get used a lot. Even though these are decorative towels, inevitably you can have somebody come over and just wipe their hands all over it. You never know, right? So just err on the side of caution for the back side of your work as well. All right, so let's talk about the wall art. So if you do want to do wall art rather than a towel, we're going to follow the same sort of steps for transferring our design. So this is the Call Your Mom design. And again, if you prefer the O that's in the home design, and you want to swap it out for this little house that is representing the O in your, then just cut and paste your little stick and stitch sticker, and you can personalize this in that way as well. So I'm just going to make this a little bit bigger so you can see this O doesn't have the same kind of detailing and dimension in the house. It doesn't have, you know, the sunset and the green grass hill and all of that, but another cute little house design as well. So I love the idea of gifting this one to maybe somebody that's going off to college in the fall. Put that on a towel or some wall art so they can remember, oh yeah, I need to call mom. All right, so for the wall art, when we are done rinsing away all of our stabilizer after the embroidery is complete and our fabric has dried and we have pressed it if desired, we're going to put it back in our decorative 8-inch German wooden embroidery hoop and just center the design or place it in the hoop where you want, because we're going to use this hoop as the wall art itself. It is the frame for the wall art. So put it back into the hoop, and then we're going to trim up the edges a little bit. You want to give yourself a bit of a border so that you can wrap the fabric raw edges to the wrong side of your hoop and make sure that it's nice and smooth along the back of the hoop. So to finish the back of the hoop, I have seen a lot of hand embroiderers like to glue the fabric in place, and that's exactly what is recommended within the instructional PDF that I've been referring to, the freebie at sulky.com. But I like to reuse my hoops, and when I want to switch out the wall art, I don't want to have to get a brand new hoop every time. Now, there are exceptions to this rule. Let's say I want to add a bunch of trim, or I want to put some felt leaves and flowers around it with sulky felty, or more embellishments like that. Then I will need to glue the hoop, and the hoop becomes part of the project forever, right? But something where I'm just hooping the fabric and adding some ribbon and hanging it up, I might want to reuse my hoop again. So what I have found, and I thought I had it right next to me. Hold, please. What I have found to be a great substitute for gluing your hoop is double-sided basting tape, or this is called sewing and craft tape. This is 8-inch wide, not 8th inch wide, double-sided basting tape. And we used this most recently in our Chateau Coat video cast to create the look of flat-felled seams with our really cool scuba fabric. And if you missed that and want to check it out, you can always register for any of our past video casts over at sewingonline.sulky.com. And we also have a few kits available of the Chateau Coat, so you can check all of that out. But at any rate, since I had this on hand from the Chateau Coat, I thought, well, why don't we try it along the inner hoop ring? And when we fold our fabric to the wrong side, it'll be secured with the double-sided basting tape. We don't have to use hot glue. We don't have to have anything permanent on our hoop. And the best thing is, you can just peel this stuff off of your wooden hoop after you're done hanging it for the season, or, for that particular decor choice that you have made. And it comes right off cleanly from the hoop. You can also add little trims and baubles and bangles and sequins to your hoop using the double-sided basting tape. So check it out. We have some of this at sulky.com. It's relatively inexpensive. I use it for straps on leather and faux leather and cork fabrics, things like this. It's really a game changer and great for something like this where we're not sewing through it. We want it to be temporary, and it's thin enough, it's just that 1/8 inch, that it fits right on that inner hoop ring. So really great alternative to glue when you're doing something like wall art. And then we simply need to add a decorative ribbon and a little hanging knot, and you can place this where you choose in your home or gift it away. Again, I think it would be really cute for somebody entering college in the fall, or really just going away. So as I mentioned, if machine embroidery is more your jam, then we have you covered with the Call Your Mom machine embroidery designs. Again, this comes with both designs, Call Your Mom and Home is Where Your Mom Is. So your machine can do all of that handwork for you. So these designs are digitized for our 30 weight cotton threads. So you get the look of using the 12 weight cotton petites that we did for handwork with your embroidery machine. So the 30 weight thread is going to require a little bit larger needle than you are probably used to working with in your embroidery machine. So you'll need a 90-14 embroidery needle or top stitch, depending on the fabric that you're choosing for your design. And part of the design is digitized with 30 weight blendables thread. So you get that sort of, watercolory look of your lettering by using that blendables thread. So it's got some nice colors running through it, and you're only using that one thread color for that portion. All right, so within your files, you will find Call Your Mom 30 and Call Your Mom 40. So if you prefer to use 40 weight poly deco or 40 weight rayon within the design, you can upload or transfer the Call Your Mom 40 designs to your machine. But the color chart and the recommended thread is Sulky 30 weight cotton thread for these designs. And yes, you can use cotton thread for machine embroidery. I get that question a lot. You certainly can. Depending on the design and actually the fabric that you're using, it could produce a little bit of thread lint during your stitch out. It's just the nature of this particular thread. So just if you need to, you can use a little bit of sewer's aid and just put a little bit on your finger and run it down the needle. Then thread your needle and stitch out your design. And your needle will not accumulate any of the lint buildup that some of the cotton thread can produce during the high-speed stitch out. And this is also relatively inexpensive. I mean, $3 or $4. It has to be under $5 at sulky.com. And you'll use it for a ton of things. So I'm just going to enlarge this a little bit so you can see the detailing of the home design that you get with the machine embroidery design as well. And you can see it's digitized for that thicker thread. So it does end up looking like you have sewn it by hand. And then let me move this down if I can. The call your mom. So very cute either way you look at it. I'll go ahead and show you the hand designs again so you can see them sort of side by side, if you will. Oops, I just deleted it. Well, I tried. Hopefully you got a good look at the machine embroidery designs. And if you want to check them out again, head on over to sulky.com, find the Call Your Mom machine embroidery designs, and you'll be off to the races. Let's see. I do see a few people asking about art files for Bernina machines. So if you're looking for art files, the EXP file should work. Some Bernina machines will also read PES files. And unfortunately, with a lot of software programs available now, they do not offer art format for exporting designs. And honestly, I don't know what the deal is. But it's been made very difficult to export designs in art format. However, the EXP files are included with this collection, and you should be able to pull those up and export them to your Bernina machines. There are also free versions of software out there that many of them, or even trial versions, will allow you to save existing designs in other machine formats. So I'm not a software person. I don't work for a software company, but you could try Embrilliant software and see if that works for you. This has helped me out. I don't have Embrilliance per se, but it has helped me out when I've gone from one machine brand to another, and I have a bunch of design formats in, let's say baby lock format, and then I switch to a Husqvarna Viking machine, and let's say I have all these designs I can't use. Well, if I grab up software, then I can export those files into the file formats that I need for my machine. And I was just being hypothetical about that situation, but you get the idea. All right, Bonnie has a great idea. She says, I love the call your mom, then could add, I miss mine for those of us whose mom is no longer with us. What a precious idea. I love it. Great idea. Great idea. Yes, Erlene, she says, I could give it as a gift. My mom is in heaven. I understand. That's a great way to honor somebody who has passed, to say, call your mom, I miss mine. That's a really, I just love that take on it. Thank you for sharing that. Okay. Barb says, is the entire alphabet available in this design for machine embroidery? Unfortunately, no, but that's a great idea because I love the font. It is so pretty. But right now we just have these two designs, Call Your Mom and Home is Where Your Mom Is. All right. Let's see. I just want to make sure I'm addressing all the questions. And again, as long as you are commenting, putting your questions in the live chat, engaging with the post somehow, either with those cute emojis or sharing the post as well. Make sure you've also either liked our Facebook page or subscribed to our YouTube channel. And if you have done any combination of those things, then you will be automatically eligible to win the Call Your Mom Machine Embroidery Collection. So one lucky viewer who is doing those things will win the machine embroidery designs that we just discussed. All right. Barb says, I like to make 2 towels for my guest bath. One I hang up, the other I leave on the vanity. Hopefully that's the one they use. Yes, you know, we don't want to put like a label, don't touch this, right? We don't want to be that person, but that's a great idea. You know, you can at least try. All right. Okay. Just making sure that I have addressed all of these. Okay. Oh, Jennifer says, Dime Designs and Machine Embroidery has a free program called Embroidery Toolshed. It can save files in all the formats. Jennifer, this is for you. Thank you. Thank you for that. I'm so glad. Because then everybody can grab it and export the files that they need for their Bernina machines. All right. Well, thank you all for joining me today on So What. I hope that these designs have inspired you to get out there and sew something and have fun and celebrate moms everywhere. Again, customize these designs. Grab up the hand embroidery design files. Try your hand at using Sulky Stick and Stitch because you will thank me for it. If you've never used it before, it is just the best embroidery transfer and stabilizer all in one. Oh, I should mention too, if you want to do the machine embroidery and you want to add a design to the towel, I like to use Sulky Fabrisolve as my stabilizer. I've used a lot of different Sulky stabilizers over the years to embroider different types of towels. And I find for these hand towels especially that, you know, some of them can be made out of sort of a loosely woven type of linen where, you know, you can see the fibers, the warp and weft of the fibers. Those can be really dangerous to put in the hoop of your embroidery machine. So I've had to do hoopless embroidery techniques. All of these things, this was before I had magnetic hoops, mind you. But I find with those types of towels and even with like waffle weave type towels that aren't quite terry cloth, but they're a little plushier than like a linen towel, I like to use Fabrisolve because Fabrisolve, it almost acts similar to a tearaway stabilizer, but it also washes away similarly to the Stick and Stitch. So with Fabrisolve, depending on the weight of the towel, I will use either 1 or 2 layers of the Fabrisolve, embroider my design, then trim away the Fabrisolve close to the embroidery perimeter, and then I throw the towel in the washing machine on a rinse and spin cycle. And when I get it out, all the stabilizer is gone. I can press my towel if it can withstand heat. If not, I might even do a permanent press cycle in the dryer just to kind of fluff it up and then, you know, place it flat while it's still a little bit warm from the dryer, and it looks perfect. You can gift it away in a cute little gift basket to your neighbors or to a new mom or to someone going away from their mom and they need a little reminder to call home. So lots of different ways you can package this up as a gift, but I hope that you have learned a little bit more about Sulky stabilizers and how to have success with these projects. Remember that larger eye needle, the 9014, if you're going to be using the 30 weight cotton thread for the machine embroidery. And then for hand embroidery, you're going to want to use our 12 weight cotton petites. That comes on 50-yard spools. So 1 strand of that thread equals 2 strands of traditional embroidery floss. So you get great coverage with just one strand. Plus, it comes on the spool, so you don't have to deal with all these skeins tangling up on you in a little pouch. You can simply use the snap spool and store your thread end in the tip of the spool, and voila, your organization dilemmas are solved. All right, so get out there and stitch something for mom or for yourself or for your transitional home decor, and I will see you next week on another So What. Just a reminder, be sure to register for the Quilty Wall Hanging Designs by Juju Embroidery Sewing Session. This session will be active on May 9th. And on May 9th, you will get an email saying that the entire session is ready for viewing. All the design files are ready for you to download and save to your computer. Your instructional PDF is ready, and you can begin sewing. So be sure to grab up your kit at that special price of $39.99 while supplies last, and you can have that on hand in time for the session to begin. It's not a live event, so you don't have to tune in on the 9th exactly, but that's the day it will be available for you to start taking and watching and viewing and creating. All right, have a wonderful, let's try that again. Have a wonderful rest of your day, everybody, and I'll see you next week for another So What.